Well, good afternoon from Southeast Texas. This is December 21st, and I don't know, we're sitting at around 76, 77 degrees, 4 days away from Christmas, and it doesn't feel like Christmas. But, that's Southeast Texas for you. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, probably going on 3 weeks or more. So it has just been busy, and I just haven't taken the time to set up the camera and do any videoing. So I'm going to kind of show some snippets and kind of talk through what I've been working over the last few weeks, share some pictures, and kind of give you some changes that is also coming about. So over the past 3 weeks, I've been, number one, spending a lot of time in the deer stand trying to harvest a deer or some deer. And all of that time always equated to either not seeing anything, or my game cameras would go off and the deer would be on another stand that I wasn't sitting in. So it kind of always seemed like the deer knew exactly where I was at, and they would always go to another stand. So that changed this past Thursday, and I was actually in the right stand at the right time. So here's kind of a breakdown as far as what happened on the deer stand, being that I don't have any video of that hunt. So basically, I was setting up in a stand that I saw some does there the previous evening, coming in roughly around 5 o'clock. So I thought, well, I'll just set up in that stand, and hopefully they'll come back the next day. I went ahead and hunted that area the entire day. So I got out there probably about an hour before hunting time began, and I didn't see anything at all that morning. Set kind of long. I set till about noontime, and then I came on out of the stand, ate lunch, went and did some work on one of my other stands, and then did a little bit of scouting in an area that the timber companies had been in recently, did some select cutting. So I just wanted to kind of check that out. And after the fact, I went back and set in this same stand for the evening hunt. So roughly around 4:30, I had a young spike come in that, he was sitting there feeding on some corn I had put out, and I watched him for a little while, and then he meandered on through into the trees, and so I knew it was getting close to 5. I was kind of getting prepared. I was hoping that the does were going to be coming in. And 5 o'clock hit, and, they had not shown up. And so I really don't like to hunt late in the evening, just because of trying to track a deer at night. And just, been there all day. So I was kind of getting tired, and I really was getting to the point I was about ready to come on out of the stand. And there about 5:15, 5:20, I look down at the end of the shooting lane, and I see some movement. So I look through my scope, and I see a doe, and so I'm looking to see how big that doe is, how old it is, and behind the doe, I now see the horns of a buck. And at that point, my heart started beating, and when he raised his head and I saw that it was the one that I had been catching on camera, my heart really started beating. I said, this is the one, this is the one I've been after. And so I was trying to calm myself down. I had probably 20 minutes or so, or a little more, of shooting time left in the day, and so I was trying to calm down, wanted to make a good shot. As that buck came in, he was right there, and there was actually 2 does, and he was right there kind of nudging the does, pushing them a little bit. And the does were kind of back and forth, but all he ever gave me was a frontal view. He never would go broadside. So finally, after a few minutes, it seemed like an eternity, but after a few minutes, he finally did give me a quartering shot, and it was a quartering to me shot, which I was not thrilled about. But I got the feeling he was probably going to go off in the woods, and he wasn't going to come in any further. So I went ahead and took the shot, and kind of aimed more for the shoulder, and got the shoulder in a good lung shot, which produced a good blood trail after I finally found it. It took a little bit to find it. But he ended up running about 40 yards before I found him. So he didn't go far. And then the fun began. So having to get him out to the point where I could load him up, and then take him to dress him out and bring him home. So that was the extent of that hunt. So for me, I was very excited. It was the buck I had been hunting since probably early to mid-October. And there was a couple of times when I was bow hunting and he would slip in behind me. And I never could really get a good shot, never could get turned around in time to try to get a good shot. Then we took a break, and we took our trip to Branson in November, and lo and behold, my phone's going off, and there he is early morning coming into my bow stand, and just the perfect spot, perfect shot within probably 30 yards. And I'm not there. I'm in Branson. So it always seems to be my case, is that when I'm not there, that's when they show up. And so it took a little bit, and I got back from our Branson trip, and I spent days up there and still just could not make it happen. And so when I was sitting for this hunt, the last thing in my mind was that I was going to see that buck. I was really just hoping that I was going to be able to see a doe and harvest a doe. I really had no expectation that I was going to harvest this buck. So it was a wonderful surprise, wonderful blessing, and I was able to harvest him and find him fairly quickly. And that was an awesome hunt. So this hunting season, I've definitely spent a lot of time in the woods, and sometimes to the point of just being totally exhausted and worn out, that I question, why am I getting up and doing it again? But this is why I do it. That hopefully, I will harvest a good animal. So I was very pleased, and very excited, for this hunt and this harvest. And hopefully I'll have more time to get up and maybe harvest a doe, maybe 2, we'll see. So that has been taking a lot of my time. But let's get back to, what else has been taking up a lot of my time. In the midst of taking a little bit of time off from hunting, I'm back down working on the sawmill area, and then just working around the place trying to get a few things done. So So that's where I'm at today, and I'm down here working on the sawmill a little bit and trying to get some things built. And I'll show some of that as well, what I'm working on. But if you're new and you didn't know that, I'm making some changes, I'm adding a new channel, and that is J&L Lumber. So we are opening up a lumber and firewood business. And so I will be sawmilling the lumber, selling that, and then also collecting trees for firewood and splitting that and bundling that up and selling that. So so those are things that are coming, and I'll share the new channel, which is going to be JL Lumber. So I've already got it created, but I haven't posted any content yet, so I'm trying to get a few things fixed up so I can start videoing, the lumber operation and sell, cutting and going through that process. So so all of my videos regarding sawmilling and lumber is all going to be out on the JL Lumber channel. So the J&L Adventure channel, and that is going to be more focused on our RV adventures and travel adventures, but it'll also be other hobbies that I do when we're not doing the travel and RV. So so some of the things that's going to be a part of that channel will be my reloading and range shooting, which will be pistol and rifle. I like to do long range shooting as well, so that will include some of those things when I get out to the ranges to shoot that. So so that's going to be a part of that channel, and also I do some cycling events. So when I'm out cycling and doing things, that'll be part of that channel as well. Right now we're kind of put up for the winter as far as RV travel goes. So that is, we've winterized the RV, we've kind of set that up and set it aside, and we are now working on our travel plans for 2026, and we'll share more of that as we get a little closer through that process. There are some RV related videos that will be coming because I still have some projects to do on the truck and the RV. One of the big ones is our DC to DC charging setup. So I've got to wire up the truck and I've got to wire up the RV and get all those connections made. So that is a video that is upcoming. I haven't started that project yet, but that is one that will be coming on that channel, this channel where this video is posted at. So that's coming, and then as I get into some other RV stuff, those will be posted out there as well. Let's see. So talking about what I'm doing today, one thing that I'm trying to prep for in the lumber business is I run a Wood-Mizer LT40 hydraulic sawmill. It's got a 38 horse gasoline engine on it, and I'll also run a Wood-Mizer dual edger. So it's got a dual blades in it, so in a single pass it can edge both sides of the board. So my first cuts that are coming off of the log, I can transfer those over to the edger and then run it through there, trim them up, and get whatever size board that I can fit out of that. So the one issue that I have is when the boards are coming off of the sawmill, I really have no place to put them, and I just basically set them on the ground, and then I'm having to handle them again, lifting them up, putting them on the edger, running them through. So what I am doing is I cut up a old sawmill that was on the place, and I used the I-beams making legs, and then I had some 4-inch angle iron laying around, so I cut that up, and I'm making a L-shaped table to give me a place to actually stack those cuts that is flush with the edger, and then all I have to do is basically slide them over and feed them through the edger. So what I'm doing is I've got all the pieces cut. Now I'm welding that up and getting that table built. So once I get that finished, then I can actually get back to doing some cutting. So that's what I'm working on today, trying to finish this table up, or as much as I can before it gets too dark. And then, so I'm gonna swing it around and show you, kind of what I'm working on with the table. Now, I'm gonna say this, okay? I am not a professional welder. I have just learned practicing on my own. I don't really weld up a good bead, and so my welds are not going to look good. So any of you that are professional welders, you're going to look at this and cringe, but that's okay. It does hold together, and if it doesn't hold together, I'll re-weld it. So I'm just prefacing that. It doesn't look great, but as long as it gets the job done and it supports the boards that I'm going to be putting on there, that's all I'm worried about. So I'm building that out right now. It's just rough. I'm just getting the frame built and welded to the legs, and then I've got to still come back and cut some angle braces to support all of the legs to keep it from shifting on me. So it is still far from being finished. I've still got a lot of work to do on this thing. Not going to finish it up today, but I'm hoping I can at least get the frame finished up today if possible. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then, I'm down here at the barn, and I don't have electricity out here. So what I've also been working on the past few weeks is I've got a generator, and so I've basically moved my generator and my welding machine onto my trailer, so I am now portable. So I have a small cutting torch set up on this trailer, and I've got now, with the portable generator and my stick welding machine on here, I'm now portable, so I can really move about and cut and weld anywhere on the property. So that's really nice. I'm not having to move stuff to one location to do those kind of things. So that's made it nice being able to have this rig set up the way it is. So that's kind of where I'm at. And that's why, you haven't seen any videos from me over the past few weeks. So I'm trying to get this one done just so you have an update, and then kind of get back to videoing some of the stuff that's going on and sharing that on a weekly basis. Trying to keep up 2 channels is going to be tough, so it might be that you might see more of my stuff on the J&L Lumber, because that's kind of where my focus is now, and so I may not have as much going on the J&L Adventure right now. So it'll kind of flip-flop back and forth. I'm definitely not going to be able to produce a video for each channel on a weekly basis, because all of my time would be spent on the computer editing all of this content and really not getting much done. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, just so you kind of know if I don't have a video out there, these are the reasons and the circumstances behind that. Making this content takes a lot of time, and most times I just get up and I'm like, okay, I need to get all of these things done, and I just don't take the time to set up a camera and discuss what I'm doing and how those things are going. Okay, so this is my board edger. So it's a wood miser. It's an EG100. It is a dual blade edger. So like I said, it's got 2 saw blades in there that are adjustable, and I can rip through out to a 1x12 board, feeding it in. So I've got the extension table on it, and but it, you know, like I said, there's not really a lot of room to stack any boards there, so I basically have to stack the boards on the ground on the edge, and then pick them up again and put them through the edger. So what I am doing is I am making this L-shaped table that is going to wrap around the edger in an L shape. And so the boards that are coming off of the sawmill, I will stack onto this wide area here that's about 5 foot wide, or 4 foot wide, I guess. And then from there, I can just slide or flip the boards over onto the edging table and then feed them through the edger. So it'll, number one, save my back, that I'm not having to bend down all the time and pick these boards up. So I can just basically back drag them off of the sawmill, and then from there move them over here to the table. So this is what I'm working on right now. This is what I'm trying to get built. Like I said, it is it's a work in progress, and I'm not the best welder, so don't fault me for that. As long as it gets the job done, that's what I'm after. So that is what I'm working on right now. And then again, the sawmill, and if you're questioning what that is on the sawmill, that is a lap cider attachment. So basically I can cut siding, or I can cut wooden shingles. So I've got a project coming up. I'm going to be building a pump shed to go over my well, and I am going to cut siding to enclose that once I get it framed up. So so that is what that attachment is, laying on the deck there of the sawmill. And then I've got another little project where I'm going to hoist this up in the barn to keep it out of the way, and then lower it whenever I need to use it. Okay, and then the other thing I was working on was my portable rig here. So I've got a generator, and I've got my stick welder there, and the generator is set up to run off of propane, and then I also have a cutting torch set up there, oxyacetylene, and so now with this setup, I'm pretty portable. I can take this anywhere on the property and cut and weld wherever I'm at. So so that is what I have been working on for the past few weeks, and why you haven't seen any videos. So now I'm gonna put the camera down. I'm gonna get back to welding on this table, and just seeing how far I get this afternoon, and kind of go from there. Okay, so got one more piece welded up and grinded down. So now I've got basically 2 more pieces to get welded up. I got to take a few measurements, make sure I'm square, and then if I can get these done, that'll give me the frame part completed. Then I've got some solid flat bar that I'm going to cut up, and that's going to make my tabletop. So basically I'm going to space them out about every 1.5 2 foot, so that I can lay the boards on, and then that'll also kind of tie everything together for the top itself, and then I'll work on the bracing of the legs. And so I've got some other stuff here I'm going to try to cut up and use for the angle bracing on the legs to brace all of those up. Because when I'm all said and done, I mean, I could have, you know, probably, depending on how many logs I'm cutting in a day, I could easily have 15, 20, 30 boards laying up here on this table, and that's quite a bit of weight. So again, it just all comes to how much I'm cutting that day. So I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing here, I've got a table that can support that weight. That's why I'm going with these I-beams for the legs, and I've got this heavy 4-inch angle iron for the top, and then I'll have the flat bar. So got a couple of more pieces to weld up. That's probably going to do it for today. I'm going to be losing sunlight here in a little bit, so it makes it a little bit harder to see, for me anyway, to weld up. So so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get these measured up, clamped up, and then try to get them welded if I can, and that'll be it for today. And then, you know, probably be back tomorrow to try to finish up if I can and get this table built, because I've got some orders for some lumber, and I'm trying to get this done so I can get to sawing. So yeah, we'll see where we go from there. So this concludes this video. I did get the table framed up, and it's all welded together. I've still got to do some finish work to it tomorrow. I've got to put the slats across there and weld those up. and then get some braces put on the legs just to support the heavy weight, and then hopefully I can get it primed and painted to match all of my other Wood Miser equipment. So the next video will hopefully be showing you the finished table, and maybe I'll even have some boards stacked on it and run them through the edger so you can see that process, so that you don't miss out. Like and subscribe, that way you get notified when I post the next video. Like I've said, I'm going to be switching between our J&L Lumber channel and our Herds Hobby channel, for J&L Adventures. So I'm going to be posting in both. I just won't be doing both channels every week. So so when I'm not working on the sawmill or firewood, I'll be probably doing something, on either the reloading or shooting side, or working on the RV, getting ready for our next trip in 2026. There is some things that I've got coming for the J&L Lumber business. One piece of equipment that has been ordered, and hopefully I'll be getting that in January. And so I'll be sharing that on the JL Lumber channel. And again, I'm going to post that in the description below, so that if you would like to check that out and follow me on that page, I would greatly appreciate it. So again, I appreciate all of you that are subscribing and following my channel. And hopefully that you're finding this stuff interesting, maybe useful, and if there's any ideas or thoughts, please share them below. We'll catch you next time.